Uh-huh. Okay, no problem. But anyway, even if it is your first course, or you will soon know me. I will try to express myself as early as possible, because the thing is, we need to conduct a successful lecture, and this is only possible if we have mutual understandings. You guys should know the type of my teaching or teaching style, teaching methodology. So if you guys understand and develop your understanding according to my style, so we can conduct a good class. On the other hand, I also need to understand, but it is not possible to understand all of you, the behaviors, your mentalities, your attitudes, although these are not the part of the course, but alongside we may need these things. So hopefully I expect from all of you that you are, mashallah, good guys, or hopefully you will cooperate as much as I would expect from you. So inshallah we will have a good lecture. Before I start, few things to mention about the course. You can see in the Excel file right here that I have distributed the overall course, and this file would reflect your overall performance throughout the semester. We are going to have 3 exams, and before each exam there will be 1 assignment and 1 quiz, so that you can prepare yourself for the exam. So in total we will have 3 assignments and 3 quizzes. In particular, if I would think that you need to solve some extra assignment or some extra quiz is needed to let you guys prepare yourself for the exams or for the project, so I can give it, but at least this is for sure. Okay, if you look at this file, you can see here right, the colored columns, right, yellow ones. 10 grades in the beginning for assignments and quizzes, 20 grades for the lab. This is the lab policy as well, and you will also receive the lab policy from your lab instructor as well. 20 grades exam 1, 20 grades exam 2, and 30 grades for final exam. So that makes up in total 100. You might be wondering that assignments and quizzes do have less contribution as compared to other exams, right? Is it less contribution or enough? 10 grades. We can still change them. Make it more than the exams. Well, again it depends how well you perform. If you perform well in exams but not in assignments or quizzes, so but 10 is the minimum for assignments and quizzes, right? I cannot go beyond that, less than. Good question. Do you expect from me a surprise quiz? But I am announcing right from the day 1. When exams will be near, so you should plan yourself, and you should start expecting from me, maybe this week there is going to be a quiz, so there may be. So a surprise quiz is also expected, but I will try announcing the date. Let's you prepare yourself. But if I surprise quiz have both advantage and disadvantage as well. Advantage is that you start preparing yourself. Maybe this week, maybe this day, this lecture, there might be some quiz. So students ultimately go home and come up with the all preparations. Okay. It depends on your performance. If you perform well in the assignments, I can increase the weightage. I can reduce from exam 1 from 20 to 15, and I can increase in the assignments from 10 to 15. So we will have a balance. Okay. During the lecture, I like to interact with the students. All of you might heard about human-computer interaction. Every day, in every lecture, you guys interact with your mobile devices, your tablets, your laptops, your PCs, right? Effectively. But here in this lecture, I also expect not only the human-computer interaction, but also human-human interaction. And please do not take this in your mind that this is a class of human-computer interaction. No. The class is CPIT 250, Systems Analysis and Design. I am just referring HCI perspectives here, and this will be your next course in the next semester. But here we will also cover some part of from HCI perspectives in design phase, in the not now or in the middle, but maybe in the end of the semester, end of the course. Some design portions, they do require some interaction strategies, so we can discuss also those perspectives. So what I was thinking, I expect an interactive session. You guys keep interacting with me. If you have any confusions, just put a question, throw it during the lecture, after the lecture, before the lecture, on even in my office hours, take an appointment or just come to my office directly in my office hours. Whatever is convenient. These are very formal things, right? And every teacher is supposed to give you guys confidence so that you can start preparing yourself. So any questions until now about the grades distribution? Right? Okay. Another important thing about your attendance, that the first lecture, you see the attendance. Your red, absent, green, present. All were absent, but anyway, I can give you some push, some relaxation. From the next or from this week, Monday, attendance will be very formal and everyone has to be present if he wants in. If you have any excuse, you are absent and you are going some hospital, do have some emergency appointments or whatever, you can come up with your excuses, but not more than a week. So within a week you can come up, or maybe before you make a holiday, at least give me, you can let me know that. I will put you guys on leave for that. Okay, so that lecture actually will not be considered for you, so you will have some concession. So your overall percentage is not, will not be affected. 25% absence percent is not my policy. Whose policy is this? It's university policy. Okay, so you will keep watching your percentage, this column, right? All are red. You have to make it green. If it is green, fine. Red, then there could be some threshold. So I expect you do not cross threshold. In the previous semester, some students were on the day of final exam. Their attendance was actually low, but they suddenly appear and say, I have an excuse, Doctor, on the day of final exam. So I think I do not expect, at least from you guys. Okay? All right. You can see here your total lectures delivered, total presence, total absence, your total leaves if you have any excuses. So that will appear here. Keep watching your percentage. No need to ask me again how much percentage is required to. Okay. Moving towards the course. The name is Systems Analysis and Design. From the name, it is very much clear that it has two parts. One is systems analysis and the other is systems design. Our major focus will be on systems analysis in detail. The better you have analysis, the better you can come up with a design. If there is some flaw that lets in some loophole, some drawback that remains within the analysis, then based on that whole you will construct a design. And ultimately what happens? If you construct a building on a weak basis, what happens? You have a high probability for the building to collapse. So sometimes systems failure occur. That failure might be because there was some flaw, there was some loop, hole that left in the analysis in the beginning. Maybe in your planning, you neglected, ignored by any way, and then that will be propagated throughout at the end. So we need to focus. But anyway, there are different methodologies that we will focus on, and with the help of those methodologies, you will understand that which suits your needs, which methodology you should follow to develop an information system for an organization. Okay, so if we have 3 credit hours, 3 for the theory, 1 for the practice, and total so if you look at this, but before this, I also want to show you something very important, that is the book name. The book name is Modern Systems Analysis and Design by Jeffrey Hofer. It is the 6th edition, and I have this book here. I can show you. Look, this is the book that you have to buy. It is preferably or you can buy. It is strongly recommended. Unfortunately, I do not have any e-books for this. You can go to the library, ask them if they give, if they have the book. You can take it from there. Sixth edition. Some of you are thinking now one question. Doctor, slides are not enough, right? Yes, slides are not enough. Slides are not enough to learn, right? The book has a very comprehensive knowledge. I mean, it has more detailed information, more examples to follow, more exercises. So it is better if this course is good and you study this course well, with concentration, with hard work, with dedication. And remember, this will help you a lot in your final year project. And not in final year project, but also even after. The course is about systems analysis and design. So you should keep in mind, you will require systems analysis, and then to convert your analysis into a design, even in your 498, and then ultimately in 499. So I suggest again, get the books from the library or wherever it is possible, because there is a case study that we will be following within this book, and that case study will help you a lot when you solve exercises from the real time. It will enhance your skills of planning yourself, how to organize your information, how to improve other skills regarding systems analysis and systems design. So you can see here the contents for this course. The first two chapters or the first 2 weeks will be dedicated to the systems, to planning, because before analysis you need to plan yourself. So we will focus on the planning phase, which is the 0 level phase of the systems development life cycle, and we will explain here later that what systems development life cycle is. So the first 2 chapters, the 2 topics belong to planning. Then we have identifying and selecting systems development projects. This is also part of the planning, but that also have some common things with analysis as well. Then from chapter 4 and 5, determining system requirements, analyzing system process requirements. So these chapter 4, 5 and 6, these are focused on initiating a project and then how to start. Once the project is started, after you plan it, after you completely plan it, then you jump onto determining system requirements. What are the requirements of your system? What are the requirements of the end user? What are the requirements of hardware, softwares, and so and so. And then from 7, we will jump onto the designing databases. Design parts have different portions. One will be the back-end design, and one will be the front-end design. On back-end design, you will be working with the databases, and but in parallel, I think you are also taking one course in databases. So we will not go into that much detail that you cover in 240, CBIT 240. But however, we will also cover a few things here for it is necessary for your understandings. Okay, and the other part of the design is front-end design, where you will be interacting with the forms, reports, and different interfaces from HCI perspective as well. So if you have any questions regarding the contents of this course, please go ahead and feel free to ask. No. Complete silence means two trivial understandings. One, completely understood, or understood nothing. So which one is later or former? Huh? Former? In fact, until now we haven't discussed any rocket science. So that's simple and fair enough to not to put any further time on it, or not to invest any further time. Okay. Okay, the first chapter from this book, Systems Analysis and Design, 6th edition. The chapter is about systems development in an organizational context. This means, what does it mean by context? Before I jump into the contents of the chapter, the one thing that is very important in my view, at least you should understand the topic. If you understand the topic, the title, then you can deeply investigate or thoroughly jump into the contents of that chapter. What do you mean by context? In an organizational context. Hmm? The main course? You mean? The main idea. Anybody else? Any rough idea? No worries. Even if it is wrong. This is what I want you to interact. This is where I will keep forwarding. I will keep, throwing my questions. So you should always be ready all the times to accept, to catch. If you know good cricket, maybe you are. I don't know if you guys play cricket. Probably mostly you love to play football, right? Soccer. In Saudi Arabia do not have any team or players to play cricket, right? Why cricket is not popular, by the way? What is the reason you guys like more football? And is it some cultural, or what else? What other games you guys play? Volleyball and video games. I think that's everybody now plays video games. Maybe this is the reason that we guys stop playing physical games in the grounds, right? This is one of the reasons, probably. Otherwise, in old times when there was no mobile, no tablets, everybody was used of going into the whatever the game you guys play. At least it is good for your health. It keeps you active, healthy. Anyway, so we were talking about context. Systems development. Let's talk about some examples around. You guys go to the supermarket, right? For grocery items, for electronics or whatever, for dairy. Now supermarket is a big, a huge one, has lots of things, right? Lots of products with different categories, with multiple categories. If you need dairy, there is a different section for that. If you need fishery items, there is a different section. If you need clothing, that has a different section. But all these things are separated, they are in different sections. You put everything and mix them together and take it to the cashier. He has only one thing in hand, barcode reader, right? No, different categories, different departments, different items, even within a department, within a one category, you see there are lots of different companies, different brands. For example, if I want to buy a cheese, I go to the cheese section, I will see, oh, there's a plenty of different variety, right? Different sizes, different weights, even cheese from different cultures, right? Maybe one type of cheese is favorite here, the other type of cheese is favorite in Milano, some other way, right? So now there is a hell of information. Hell of information. Where is that information? Is highly structured and organized. Right? You take the full cart to the cashier, he has only barcode reader. That one identifier, that's it. Barcode reader finishes your job and you take the item outside. What is happening on the back end? When you are unloading your items from the cart and putting it onto the belt, what is happening? You do not actually see. Sometimes if you have few items, you can quickly put it onto the belt and see what is happening. But normally, how many of you, when you go to the market and you pay attention to the screen, there are two screens, two displays. One for the customer, right? Other for the cashier. The cashier display is not faced towards the customer. The customer can only see with a small display just the price, how much. However, some supermarkets, they display the detailed display even to the customers as well. Right? So have you ever experienced what type of information is normally displayed on those screens? Huh? Details of the items? Miss? Sorry? Discount. If there is discount, that will be displayed as well. What else? Price, ID number. What else? Huh? Quantity. And name. What else? Okay. So everything comes up. When this barcode is read, all the detail, its brand, its company, its type, its style, its size, its big, small, medium, whatever, it's salted, unsalted. Like if you buy a butter, so different types of butters. It is from Almarai, from Annada, or from any other company. All these details that comes up in the information system that is displayed. Now, do you think to organize such a huge or plenty information is really easy job to do? How, I mean, if something comes up, supermarket claims to some dairy company, okay, we are out of stock and we need this and this, blah blah blah, whatever. The huge list of items is sent to the companies different. They send a truck, they unload that truck and put it into the inventory. They take all those items and store that into the storage area. They do not bring that items directly into the shelves. Right. Once the items are there, so what happens? How do they enter into their system? Once you buy an item from the system, it is deleted. This means it is sold out. Right? Okay. But before it was added into the system, it was subtracted from the system, it was also added into the system. So as soon as the things are coming in, there is a barcode reader. With the help of barcode reader on the back end, they add it into the system and then they bring those things into the shelves within where the area allowed for the customers. They do not bring anything in the customer's area without adding that item into the system. There is an information system which is highly structured, highly organized. There is a database behind that working. Now, if I ask you, I mean, it's let's say Carrefour or Hyperpanda. You develop a system for Hyperpanda. Do you think the same system or same information system can also be used with some other company, let's say Carrefour or Danube? Yes? No? With modifications, because they have different prices. Some brands might be available in Hyperpanda, some brands might not be available in Danube. With some changes, this is called customization. With customization, we can use the same system maybe for some other company. Now, supermarkets, this is one organization, right? Similarly, banks, you guys go to the bank, you have ATM cards, debit cards, credit cards, you go to them, you make transaction, transfer accounts, money from one account to another, withdraws the money, you pay the utility bills, you can use the government services, you pay your traffic violations to the bank, right? Sadat services. What is all that about? This is all information systems developed for different organizations. So keeping in mind a particular organization, what are their needs? What are their requirements? This is what we call its organizational context in a particular. A system developed for banks is different from the system developed for the supermarkets. A system developed for the insurance company would be different from the bank. Right? So, what we are going to do here, we're going to talk about development of information systems. Okay. I need one example of an information system from you. Just give me one example. Hospitals, airline, Saudi airline companies, You can buy online tickets. You can go to their office. You can pay there, buy the tickets, reserve, change of reserve. You can manage trips, tourism, yes, and hotels, good. What else? Universities. What information system do you guys use here at KU? Orders. What Orders is doing for you? Orders is same for FCIT and for Faculty of Science. They have the same view? Huh? FCIT different policies, right? Faculty of Science may have different policies, right? So our information system may be different from them. They are different from some Faculty of Agriculture, from Faculty of Medicine, like that. So every college, they do have their own requirements, their own needs. So according to the requirements and needs, the systems are customized. What does ODUS actually mean? ODUS, on-demand user system, right? So you can actually ask the deanship to customize that system for Faculty of Science differently from the Faculty of Computing and IT. It is different. Do you get my point or no? On demand, you demand them. We need this. We have a different list of courses. Our policy is, for example, if you want to register for a course, CPIT 280, Human Computer Interaction. CPIT 250 is a prereq for CPIT 280. Can you register in 280 without completing the course CPIT 250? This is the policy of the department, right, which is implemented in the system. So there is a check. So this is also, so in fact, to incorporate organizational or departmental policies, their rules, their laws, this is to implement these things is a part of development systems, right? So if I talk about airline companies and so, you can find many examples. How to incorporate not only the design or analysis things, but also the organizational policy, the organizational terms and conditions and so on. Okay. Now, the word organizational context has been discussed here widely, I think. It's fair enough that we have discussed lots of examples. Now, until now, anybody have any confusion? Or if I speak too fast or too slow, let me know so that I can tune myself. If you do not understand me, what I am talking about, then there is a trouble. Okay? Your faces show that somehow the course is boring for you, right? Why? Are you sleepy? You know, the time 2 o'clock is, but according to my experience, maybe you have taken some lunch or maybe you are hungry enough and you want to quickly leave and want to go. Is it because of that you feel a bit sleepy? Is it so? Or okay, no problem. I hope you will give me enough time to have your attendance, right? Should we take an attendance now? Still, we have some time. A lot of time is there. Okay. So let us define formally things. Systems analysis. Systems analysis is the study of sets of interacting entities. Interacting entities including computer systems analysis. And this field is closely related to the requirements analysis. Now we are talking about here entities. In our analysis, we need to identify not only the requirements, but actually we need to identify the entities. Entities means anything. For example, within a faculty, let's say, department is an entity, right? Faculty is an entity, student is an entity, exams is an entity, course. Any other example? Teachers and sections. I mean, for something to be an entity, it doesn't require to be physically. It doesn't require to be physical. Physical things can also be entities. But logical or abstract, normally logical and abstract things, they are considered as. So identifying entities involved within the system, establishing relationships between them, how one entity can interact with other, identifying the requirements of the end user, of the developers, of the organization at all levels, high level, medium level, low levels. They are all are the part of analysis. Design is the process of defining the architecture, component, modules, interfaces and data for a system to satisfy the specified requirements. Now, we have identified the requirements. We have identified the entities, the needs from systems point of view and as well as from the user point of view. Now what we have to do, we need to see what information is needed actually that can perform effectively in performing its functions, and what information is not needed at all. Because sometimes what happens when we are doing analysis, we identify some requirement, we identify some need, but at that time we are normally not sure that either I should have this requirement or not. So what our strategy would be, we will keep it with us and later we will see if it is really needed or not. Maybe in design, if we need it, we keep it and use it. But if no, we can ignore it. So design part is to organize and structure and then make an architecture of all these things, which entity, which component, which group of people or hardware, softwares or objects, they are interacting with each other. So this is part of the design. But I will go into the detail more. And then we also need to understand information systems. As we have already taken some examples, we have discussed all of them, but we need to formally define them. Information systems is the study of a complementary networks of hardware and software that people and organizations, now they both are part of the system. System itself is nothing. If we remove people from the system, there is no system. If there is no organization, only people, then still there is no system. So they both make an information system. Okay. They use to collect, filter, process, create and distribute the data. Data is very important term here. We will see how to define in particular the data, or how the data comes into the system, how data is used by one component of the system and then gives an output to another component of the system, and then it goes through the whole system, whole process until the end, and how the data goes out of the system after all types of processing. So this is part of the information system. All right. I think we stop here today, and I expect from you that you guys, when you come into the next lecture, please try reading the slides so that you can have better understanding before we come to the lecture and we will start. And somebody would remind us that where we actually stopped. And more importantly, before I start next, I will float and throw different questions about what we discussed in the last lecture. What type of examples of information systems we discussed. Right? Good. Okay, now I will take an attendance for you guys, and Abdullah Muhammad, you were present in the last lecture or absent? Absent? Uzaid Muhammad, Faris Hussain, Faris. And Rakan, Naji, Muhammad Ubaid. No, sorry, there is another Rakan. Kahani. Muhammad Ubaid, Saud Ahmed, Mansoor Fahad, Muhammad Abbas, Abdul Latif, Muhammad Aid, Ahmad Auda, Muhammad Ahmad bin Muhammad Al-Ghamdi. Ibrahim Muhammad, Ismail Abdullah, Nawaf Ali ibn Abdullah, Hasham Khalid, Sami Ahmad, Adi Muhammad, Badr Basim, Mahmoud Abdullah, Okay, Mahmood. Anybody who came in the last lecture, let me know. Just when your attendance. Muhammad Khalid, you also came? Okay. Abdullah Saidu. Ahmad Fuad. Muhammad Waleed. Marwan Ahmad. Muhammad Aud. Saleh Hassan. Ahmad Maulvi. Anybody else?
Last week I couldn't come because I did the correction. This is for you.
This is for the.
Last week, Monday, like today.
This is for how many days?
15 days was like a self.
Wait a second.